Hey, how you guys doing? It's producer from Brothers Comics. Welcome to our wrestling recap show called What We Missed in Wrestling as we go back to the time when we had stopped watching professional wrestling, y'all. We had just started to grow up, man, started to get hairs on our chin and other places, and we were headed off into adulthood. Wish we would have stayed a kids, by the way. On the line tonight, I got my two favorite Marvel hacks. It's Brother Beavis, man, or Magnum BB for this podcast.
You just described a dark journey, my friend.
Oh yeah. Ooh,
See what I
man.
did there?
I did, and
Mm,
we looked her up last time. Don't do it, y'all.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. You just kill your childhood.
Do
Also,
not do it.
yeah. Also on the line, it's the spine buster. It's the old junkyard dog. It's Big Hoss. What's going on, man?
ruff, 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 ruff.
There you go. Awesome. You know, the stories that Cornette tell about how over he was in Louisiana, which we never really got a chance to see. All we got was kind of fat and cocained up Junkyard Dog, which seems very unfortunate. You know, I wish you could see some of that Mid South stuff when he was like that. But anywho, all right. So yeah, we're going SummerSlam 1989 tonight. Again, we are especially not WWF people at this particular time. We were NWA, WCW people, but also we're moving into that area where wrestling, well, I don't know if it was ever cool, but it definitely wasn't cool at the point that we were at this time in life. So we were watching fewer and fewer. So it's August 28th of 1989, y'all. Where are you at, Hush? August 28th, 89?
About to turn 20 something. About to be
Mhm.
something, something, something. So
What's
not
your
not right no TV.
location? Yeah, what's your
Oh,
location?
probably Columbus.
Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
Columbus.
Magnum BB.
This was like the final stretch before heading out to college, right?
Yeah, it should have been. I
Yeah.
think I'm gone at this point. I
Mm.
feel that I'd already made the trip to Western Pennsylvania here.
Yeah, I think you
Uh,
you did historically start pretty early, I think.
yeah, I think we were like the middle of August, like 15th. It just always comes to my head, like
Yeah.
August 15th, and I think I was already gone. Okay, so let's give you an insight into the producer at Brothers Comics, freshman, whatever. There were no TVs. There was definitely no cable. Um, Pretty much covered it. Yeah, there was the forms of entertainment, were hang out at the student center. And pretty much it, y'all. It was pretty rough there in the early parts of or the late parts of the 80s. So our show tonight is at the Meadowlands Arena in Rutherford, New Jersey. Crowd of 20,000 people. They seem pretty hyped. More hyped than I would have been for some of this bullshit. 10 matches, but only 9 actually shown on the show. Lots of backstage bits, a lot of VTRs, some videotape stuff to recap where we are with the feuds. Like so much, as a matter of fact. Plus, we get Zeus, y'all. And I'm going to tell y'all the story of how I got nicknamed to be Zeus or whatever. But Zeus, Tiny Lester here is in
Rest in
this
peace.
pay-per-view. Yes, well, there's a spot here we're going to do a bit where everybody's dead. Um, so this movie comes out after No Holds Barred, Hulk Hogan's attempt. Is this his first attempt at a movie? At a
I,
terrible movie? Because he had several.
Well, I
he was in
think
that Rocky movie.
Well, I mean, I count it, but I don't. He's not the star, but I understand what you're saying. But is
yeah, I
this his
think this
first
this
starring
was I
role?
think his first starring role.
Yeah, what was he had with Santa Ninjas or some shit like
I
that
don't think
too?
he had gotten into that phase
Yeah,
because
it
I
was
don't think
bad.
they thought that No Holds Barred was going to be a joke. I think
Yeah,
they thought it
they
was
played
genuine.
it straight.
Yeah,
Okay,
huh?
okay,
What?
so Hutch is a proponent of Rotten Tomatoes. No Holds Barred is sitting at a solid 10% on
Shit, that's higher than I thought.
on Rotten Tomatoes. It did star Joan Severance, and kids Google it because 80s and early 90s Joan Severance could absolutely get everything. But I've never seen the movie. I've seen bits and pieces of it. Either of y'all seen it?
No.
We
No.
would admit to that, even if
Well,
they did. But the
10%
answer
of
is
people
no.
did. Yeah, no. Okay. I'm just asking. Shit, man. Shit be on TV sometimes. You don't want to get up and change the channel.
There, I'd rather watch freaking Carl Sagan or something.
Oh,
And this is 7 years after Rocky 3 for
yeah, okay,
the
yeah.
for
So,
the record.
yeah, so yeah, this is not like yeah, we're kind of coming off his name for that. Yeah, this is the height of Hulkamania are really at his peak-ish. Although it's about to head to the downside here momentarily, but like he's at his peak or whatever. So there's time to strike or whatever for Vince to try to make this crappy movie was obviously now, and yeah, not great apparently. So I can tell you how I got the nickname Zeus. So y'all don't know college me,
No.
but
I
good dude, a good friend of mine that lived like 2 doors down, and shouts out to Jim Jackson, from the borough. He was like a weightlifter, a bodybuilder dude. Like him and his roommate were both bodybuilders. They lived 2 doors down from me. And so, like, they would always go to the gym. I didn't go to the gym back then or whatever. And so they came back from the gym one day. I just walking past the room and they're just in there all sweaty and shit. And I'm like, oh, what's up, fellas? I just start flexing like a mother. And then they were like, Zeus, Zeus, Zeus. And they just start calling me Zeus from this movie. And it stuck. Like, college me is Zeus. Y'all don't know that. But that, like, I would go to Jim's house for Thanksgiving because I couldn't get a ride back to Ohio or whatever. And I would go to his house, and his mom would be like, "Hey, Zeus, you want some mashed potatoes?" I mean, his
Oh.
sister called me Zeus. Like, it just stuck like forever over there. So yeah, that's just kind of wild. But anyway, all right. So let's get the show started. Like again, all these matches, our watch along is going to be the American Dream or the Common Man, Dusty Rhodes versus the Honky Tonk Man, which is match number 2. We got a lot to say about that and just the absolute downfall of some of the classic NWA, WCW people that we grew up with that are actually out here. If they were black, it would be a step and fetch it situation because this is fucking awesome. Okay. All right. So here we go. Match number 1, the Hart Foundation versus the Brain Busters, which is Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson with Bobby the Brain Heenan. Magnum BB, you've been bitching about this for a while. Like, damn, the freaking Brain Busters got their brains busted.
The last time we
match.
saw them on this series, they had their match against Rick Martel, the Strike Force, Rick Martel and Tito Santana, which was the split of Strike Force. And we got like classic heel Tully strutting, showboating. Like they stretched out Tito. Like they could have beat Tito at any point after a certain point, and they stretched that out for a while. I started watching this, and it's a curtain jerker, first of all. And we've seen most of the Hart Foundation matches we've watched involve long stretches of Bret Hart selling.
Yeah. They did the opposite here.
This match was, they took them from pillar to post, bell to bell, and then gave them the win to say, like, no, you didn't just get beat for 16 minutes and 23 seconds. They got clowned. They got,
Were their contracts up?
I don't think so. No, they're still going to be there for a little bit while longer.
The storyline
at the beginning,
the storyline part of this was that I think I don't know who they won the title from, but the Brainbusters are the champions at this point. But
this is a non-title match.
They had won the title after this match was made, so this was a non-title match. So this was like a free. This is like you could give the heels or you could give the baby faces as much shine as you needed to, because like this was just part of their series. So they're like, oh, we don't need to give you anything. You already have an out, so take this ass whooping.
Not that I didn't notice it before, but this match just starts off really a whole night of the trend of cheating ass baby faces is what I call it. The baby faces are cheating all the time. Like it's a ridiculous amount of cheating. I'm just like, what the? They're baby faces. Like, why are they being able to get away with this? Because they are led by King Cheater Babyface, which is freaking Hulk Hogan. And by the way, globally, fuck Hulk Hogan. All right. So yeah, there was that. And they did the match when the Brainbusters did finally get the heat on. It was on the anvil, so Bret Hart gets to make the hot tag or whatever. And then ref loses control. What's it? The double axe handle on Bret, and he gets pinned. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Brainbusters escape, I guess, whatever. But yeah, just a kind of a crazy match. 16 minutes was that 16 minutes. It's kind of like the standard for the matches for the evening too. That's kind of like everybody's getting a little bit of time to go out there. But yeah, just sorry, Tully and Arn. Like, I'm sorry that we just beat you all over for this match. So
It was just crazy that they won, but
They lost.
yeah.
in 16 minutes and 20 seconds, that would not have been apparent. It was
Yeah.
like they were down on points until the last 3 seconds. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, awesome. All right, let's get into match 2 again, which is our watch along. Okay, I got some stuff before we hit that button. Okay. They announced Dusty at 289. Come on, son.
That's generous.
Come on.
Maybe
Come
that
on.
in kilos.
Come on. Come on. Dusty at this point, it easily got to be in the 330s, you would say, right? Come on.
Yeah. I mean, he's at the tail end here for sure.
Yeah.
He hasn't seen his feet in years.
Yeah. Not just his feet. And then Tony Schiavone, which we didn't talk about at the top, the announcing team, Tony Schiavone and Jesse the Body Ventura. I'm gonna a lot to say about the Body here later on too. Schiavone, he's in his yelling phase, man. He's just screaming, and he gets really fired up for this match. Like it's one of his, like, you know, I'm happy to see Dusty here kind of situation. That's what it feels like.
And we talked about, like, one of the strengths of the prior pay-per-views was the announced team of Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse the Body, and Gorilla could stand up to Jesse. Tony cannot.
Yeah, he
Tony is a complete shill.
Yeah,
like, it's bad.
He only lasts a year there too. Dusty gets a little bit longer than that, but yeah, he's only there for about a year before he's back in WCW. All right, so if you got your Peacock, go ahead and load that up. We are going to go to, what is it, 16 minutes and 20 seconds?
21:40.
No, sorry, 21:40.
Ain't that a Van Halen album? Oh.
It's 51:50.
I knew that. And 1984.
Wait, ain't that the name of what's tequila? No, that's something else. Sammy Hagar's tequila.
That's Cabo or something.
Yeah, so whatever. All right, anyway. All right, so go ahead and fire your Peacock, get it to 21:40. We'll count it down 3, 2, 1.
You have to watch a commercial first.
I think I've already gone through.
We're good, but the listeners.
Yeah, but the listeners, you might have to get that. All right, so 3,
Brea, season 2.
2, 1. Here we go. Oh my God! 40,000 people, my God! Yeah. Okay, so what? As they're making their way to the ring, we don't talk about Honky Tonk Man enough.
Why?
What a heat getting some bitch. Dude could get some heat, as they say. And as a heel that he was, because this is a ridiculous gimmick. It's a ridiculous gimmick, but he made it work. So he
made it work for years.
Yeah, I mean, what was it, Wayne Ferris, I think is his real name. Yeah, props out to you, sir. Okay.
He's still with us too, right?
So
he is.
I could never fuck with Honky Tonk Man because he took Ricky Steamboat's Intercontinental title.
I'm
like, come on, man.
He took a lot of Intercontinental titles. He had it for a long time.
He had a couple of times,
Yeah.
It's a Jordan meme, and I took that shit personally. Okay, here's Dusty getting to the ring. We're full polka dots. The shucking and jiving, y'all, is out of control.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is bad. This is, look, I'll suck your dick fucking shit here.
He's at least drunk, right? At least drunk. At least.
This is, I need this money.
Look how over he is, though.
Yeah, people love it. And look how overrated he is.
That's some piped in shit.
No.
I don't think so.
Man, he high as hell.
I think when he came in, I think he started feuding with Big Bubba because Big Bubba was off. Hogan was done with Big Bubba, I think. Yeah. So that's why he has the hat and the Billy Club. Yeah. Polka dots, I still have no idea.
Yeah, I can dance with you. He can dance too. Look, this is awful.
He high.
This is not. This is
say awful. No to drugs.
Yeah, this is old man in the club shit.
It's worse than that. I'm the old man in the club.
And people are, it is, and people are hyped for it.
Yeah, he ain't 280.
No.
Oh, he is 280, but he
Oh,
ain't only 280.
He's 280 with some extra. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
right. Them polka
exactly.
dots are a good 20 by himself.
No, this is thankfully prior to the Sapphire era.
Yeah, just
It
barely.
just gets worse.
Yes,
Quit,
it does.
quit reminding me. Oh, gee. Let's see. The Berlin Wall fell down. What else happened?
The shucking and jiving.
Oh,
Just shucking and
geez.
driving. Yeah, it's bad. He
This is
takes
for
the
all the
powder.
little people. Literally,
It's bad.
because all y'all weigh less than 300 pounds.
Awful. Well, remember when he came in, and again, we're kind of out of the game.
1964?
No, not that. But like when he comes in, remember, he was the common man. And they announced him as the American Dream coming to the ring, but he was the common man. Maybe he was doing that like on his vignettes. He was doing like common man shit, like plumbing and delivering pizzas and shit.
He probably
And
was.
that was just to kind of get him to get there. But like once he's there, like allegedly, remember this is a rib.
Yeah.
This whole bit, and doing this when it's gonna come up again when we get to Akeem the Dream, which is a rib on Dusty.
Yeah.
You know what? One of these days, y'all got to put down all the vocabulary for people who don't be watching these shit.
A rib's a joke.
But all the other shit,
Yeah.
I need a list.
Okay. Yeah, we
Like-
got you.
And the elbow is over.
The 10
Like
count.
the deadly elbow.
Yes. This is rough to look at him like this, but I probably if we went back and watched something in '88, what is he, 10 pounds lighter? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like he was just over because he's Dusty, not because of what he could do in the ring.
Well, they've talked about like, so I think the thing that was jarring for us, right? Like Flair comes in and Flair is Flair and Flair is untouchable. And there's a reason, like, I think we thought that like half the people that went there were untouchable. Like they didn't mess with the Road Warriors too much. I mean, they became the Legion of Doom and they got plastic, they got,
shoulder pads.
more flashier shoulder pads and plastic shoulder pads, whatever. But they still were essentially the Road Warriors. But to have somebody like Dusty, like completely remade into another character, like I don't know, I couldn't process that at the time. I'm like, that's Dusty Rhodes. What's happening? Like he was never my favorite wrestler, but was clearly one of the top names in a much better wrestling promotion. So this was always bizarre. But having said that, they talk about like how people get these various gimmicks. And I think, what we've kind of heard is like Dusty was like, all right, I can get anything over. And he does. Like he is this polka dotted shuck and jiving buffoon. And he got it all over with this with this crowd anyway.
Yeah.
With this crowd.
They are screaming on his every word here. Oh, and then the heat. All right, so when they get to heat, Hutch, this is when the bad guy starts to beat up the baby face. That's the heat. So he's getting heat on Dusty now, and he used that foreign object to start the heat.
Use the gimmick.
Yeah, so you have to, because he's got to set up the babyface comeback, which will be coming momentarily. So can we talk a bit about, and I remember hearing this on Cornette, and I remember reading it a little bit someplace else too. Okay, so how did Dusty wind up here? Well, oh, look at Jimmy Hart, my God, I don't know what he did. But
third divorce, second divorce.
No. Okay, so the merger when Turner buys WCW, the standard in practice that they wanted to change like what was going on there, and Dusty's the head booker. So there was a no blood situation. Like you can't have blood on TV. And I remember this angle when it happened. And so Dusty was mad about the oversight. And he went out and booked an angle with the Road Warriors that they spiked him with one of the spikes and cut him open live on the 605 show. And he got shit canned.
Yeah. And he was going to turn the Road Warriors heel by turning them on himself. Yep. That was how. But people still cheered for the Road Warriors.
Yeah, that's right.
And they did.
Yeah, so he was in and out of the booking, or there was somebody else, and then and he was. I don't know if it was potential or if he was like, I'll show him and I'll get I'll get this to go regardless. But
it didn't. And so Wikipedia told me that, he left there, he went to like Florida where he's kind of started
Right.
and started, what was it called? Pro something wrestling, some like, local kind of territorial wrestling situation. And PWF. And, he was there for about a year, but, Vince had pretty much destroyed the territories at that point. And, he needed the money. And so he winds up in WWF. And, within a year's time, essentially, he gets, fired there. And when less than a year, he winds up in WWF, as the common man. So
And
missing
then
the needles
ultimately
in
back
that
to
time.
WCW as a commentator, joins the NWO, and then disappears.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Well, then he's back in WWF because I think he was a part of the original, like the next crew before like
Oh,
Triple H and all those took it over. I think he was a part of that.
we have several seasons of this show before we get back to that.
Yeah, no, we're way past that. So yeah, it's. I mean, again, you have to wonder. Like this is like, even if he wasn't. I mean, again, he was booking himself in the great angles in NWA, but man, you wouldn't have thought it was going to be this. Like this is not it, like at all. And it's kind of sad. Again, it's sad to watch almost. I mean, that's like a wrestler sad. He fucking cutting meat on the weekend and shit, but it ain't that far off.
And I think that because the polka dots was such a joke, like they didn't necessarily book him terribly. He was never at the top of the card.
Yeah.
But like he had feuds. He generally came out on top.
Yeah.
They worked angles for him. He just was never near a title. But it's like you always remembered it's as a clown show.
And they book him with Savage at some point in time here, and they have like
Oh
a bunch
yeah,
of matches as well.
because it's Sapphire. Oh, and then doesn't Sapphire turn on him or something like that?
Something like that.
Because he was with Sherry. I think Savage is with Sherry by then, right?
Yeah. Sherry shows up tonight. I got a note about that.
She's
so
great.
yeah. Oh. But yeah, this. I mean, this is not a terrible match, but like you said, he is pretty over with this group of folks here.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, say what you will, but
I mean, I think he's probably not, like we were shocked. I think we'd all forgotten how over Hacksaw was.
Yeah.
Like during the match, he's not getting the same reaction as when he came out, or maybe once he takes back over, he does, but he's not as over as Hacksaw, I don't think.
No.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
But he's definitely over. And yeah, this is like, this is honestly, sadly, this is one of the better matches on this card.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and grabs his nuts.
Well,
and this is flip flop and fly.
Yeah, and check this out though. Look at the kid.
He was 36 years old when this match happened in 1989. Wait, that can't be right, can it?
Oh, ref bump. Look at the kids in the crowd though. And again, this is the WWF at the time. Man.
40,
Look,
about 44.
Ice cream bars. With those wrestle buddies. We're past the stupid cartoon and all that, but they made it a conscientious choice to make this appeal towards kids.
Yeah.
And this is the send them home happy era. Oh no, a gimmick. And the elbow. Like, why would he need the elbow? 1, 2, 3. I mean, look at all those kids there. They're nuts. Look at that. Yeah. I mean, they are nuts for Dusty.
They're on a sugar high.
Dream.
Oh, jeez.
She's just a common man.
He's common, all right.
The Frankenberry cookies are better than the Count Chocolate cookies, by the way.
Well,
the Frankenberry cookies at least taste like artificial strawberry. Count Chocolate cookie doesn't taste like anything.
Count Chocolate sucks.
It does. All right, we can cut it out since he's talking to this. But we the intercutting between with Dusty in the ring doing his version of the Hulk Hogan, which is really just dancing. And actually, Honky Tonk, like all confused on this interview, was pretty fucking funny. He's like, yeah, I gotta get back to that.
He high too.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. All right, we can stop that then. All right. that is the watch along part. I mean, again, you're saying it's one of the better matches. I'm not saying that it's not, but
I think
is
saying
what-
that says something about this show.
Right.
yeah. Well,
That was a C match.
come on. Yeah, that's fair.
C.
Yeah,
I
minus-
remember like all of WWF because at the time it was WWF television just being squash jobber matches, or like the Sunday or like the Monday night show was like mid-tier
Yeah.
jobber matches replayed from Madison Square Garden.
And
Yeah.
interviews.
And interviews. And so I think I always had the feeling of like, when is there actually going to be like a decent match, a good match? And then you get this and it's like,
don't
kind
hold
of
your
rather go
breath.
back to the interviews and the squash matches. Like
yeah.
the just the actual straight up wrestling matches are kind of awful. But
Yeah, it's not what they were known for. They were selling an event. You're selling the event. You're not necessarily worried about what it is. You're just trying to come to this event. All right, y'all. Match number 3, Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig versus the Red Rooster, Terry Taylor. I have a note here because you can look at when Terry Taylor comes. I refuse to call him the Red Rooster. When he goes to the ring, like he should have been Ric Flair, y'all. Like he should have. He's a great wrestler. Maybe he couldn't have talked like Flair. But he's a great wrestler. He's a good looking dude. He had a good body. Like there was no reason for this. Whatever this is awful. Also a rib. From what they said, because when Vince met him, he thought he was, the kind of overconfident cock of the walk. Yep. And so they gave him this freaking gimmick and killed his career. Absolutely killed it. And this is awful. Who's the baby face and who's the heel in this match?
The Red Rooster's a baby face.
I don't know about that. Are you sure? Because he doesn't wrestle like a baby face.
He's a fucking Red Rooster. Of course he's gonna be fucking dirty.
I'm just telling you, he doesn't wrestle like the baby face here. I think this is when they were trying to turn Kurt Hennig babyface. He just can't do it because he's naturally a dick.
Right. There are two danglings there, and
Yeah.
and Red Rooster comes up about an inch short.
Yeah, Perfect is awesome, by the way. Like he's so good here.
He's always been technically incredible. And yes, he plays an asshole perfectly.
Yeah, and not just like perfect at doing the moves, but like just the attitude that comes across with it, the character. This was great.
He's got a Jerry curl for a white dude. What the hell?
Yeah, he was also killing the like when he was hitting him with moves and being like hitting him with the chicken club. Yeah, well I
thought I read that. So I thought this was just a squash, but I thought I read Terry Taylor got hurt.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, that's why they cut it short.
Okay, yeah, it was very short because that perfect flex came out of nowhere. Also, a pretty decent finisher, by the way.
That perfect flex, that's a great
That's
finisher.
a fucking great finisher.
That and like I think it's the dragon suplex, the full Nelson in the suplex pin. That's
yeah. No, dude. No, yeah.
Him and Rick Rude.
That's another story that we're gonna get to.
Yeah. And so then we get these starting of the backstage bits after that. Rick Rude and Bobby Heenan. I thought about that. My note said, so Rude, once he leaves here, which is in less than a year himself, he winds up going to WCW and feuding with Sting. The other.
What were they? The other Blade Runner.
Yeah, the Blade Runners. So he winds up over there and feuding with Sting. So that's just kind of weird. All right, so then we get into match 4, y'all. The Rougeaus and Dino Bravo with Slick and Jimmy Hart versus the Rockers and Tito Santana. The continuation of the feud with Strikeforce breaking up from the previous pay-per-view. So you got Tito Santana and Dino Bravo in that, and then just the tag teams. Rougeaus also good at getting heat.
Yeah.
I mean, just absolute, hey, yeah, just absolutely great at getting heat on one another. And then my other note here says Dino Bravo is doing the beta version of the Narcissist, which they're going to stick with Lex in a couple of years here.
Was he out there too?
Yeah, he was the model at this
Rick
point.
Martel.
Oh
not
yeah,
Dean.
sorry, yeah,
All
sorry,
right.
not Dean.
Wow.
Yeah, Rick Martel. I'm sorry. So yeah,
Yeah.
Rick Martel is the model, and yeah, they're gonna stick Lex with that gimmick of the narcissist. Like in
Yeah,
a couple of
they've had a male model fetish in that federation
yeah.
for a long time.
Side road topic as we matches going through here. Did y'all watch the A&E biography on Lex?
No, not yet.
Okay, it's
I've seen
rough.
the rivals, but I haven't seen the biographies.
Yeah, it's rough only because the physical deterioration of Lex. I mean, you probably seen it on Twitter or
Yeah.
something else anyway, but it's not it's not it's uncomfortable in that regard. But he's open and honest about all the dumb shit
Yeah.
that he did that got him into that spot. But yeah, it's
Shit, he's still alive, which is like
well,
better or worse
than
than the rest
some.
of them.
Yeah, but you know what it's like, to be honest with you? It's like watching like Val Kilmer. Like if you've seen Val Kilmer recently,
Yeah.
not just in Top Gun, but you saw like his has that biography or whatever on Prime. Yeah, it's just uncomfortable in that regard. All right, so yeah, so
And the irony is, like, as we've observed, prior to any modern revisiting, we never, we obviously
No
recognize
idea.
Luger for his stature, but like generally regarded him as not that great. And going back,
Yeah.
it's like,
yeah, he was
what
good.
was our problem?
Yeah.
And I do think it comes down to like his kind of lack of passion came through on perhaps subconscious, but at times performance levels. And I think it's just that kind of pervaded everything, but he was good.
Yeah, he's a much better wrestler than we remember. So a couple of my notes on this match is Tito is the one that gets the heat on him for a very long time. I mean, LaRusso and Martel beat the shit out of him for several minutes. And this is also a perfect. All right, Hutch, you're looking for vocabulary here. Okay, so they got the heat on Tito. That's one. And then, this is the epitome of the hot tag comeback for the babyface. Like, this is it. You cut off the ring, the distract the referee. The babyface is like, they're getting all fired up because the referee's not paying attention to them. And he's just working the crowd into an absolute frenzy for these babyface. It's perfect. Like, this is exactly what it is.
The false tag that the referee waves off.
Yes, they didn't see. Yeah, and then this is also shows you, six men tag matches don't have to be chaos.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't have to be everybody in the ring and have to do like a modern thing. No, a trios match is what they call it now. Awful. Yeah, it doesn't have to be. And if people are doing their jobs and getting the crowd into it, which they did for this match, that's what it is. Again, Tito's a hard luck loser. We've been talking about this for a very long time since we talked about that.
You got to pay extra loot every time you lost. So
yeah, well, I mean, but again, Ventura this is again, I'm listening with 2022 ears as opposed to 1989 ears. All the Chico stuff, it's just fucking super racist, and it gets worse as we get into one of these matches later. It's just really hard. They used the Boston Crab, rest hold. Use the abdominal stretch, rest hold. Like, I mean, they do all and with the cheating thing, Hutch, they put him in abdominal stretch and they freaking, hold the rope and pull. I mean, this is all classic heel stuff, and everybody's getting fired up. And then when he finally makes that hot tag, Shawn Michaels comes in as the fired up babyface, and he's good at that. I mean, I'd never paid attention to his drop kick before, but Shawn Michaels' drop kick was pretty dope here. Like, I mean, he was way up in the face. And the fact that, this guy 3 or 4 years from now is going to be, one of the biggest stars in the business. I don't think I saw it back then. You?
The thing that strikes me about his style is like everything is over the top.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was like his desire, just like, every opportunity, you are not going to miss me. Like we saw him in like the battle royals and whatnot, and he always just is like just pop, like every move is like oversold, overdone, everything. So no, I mean, I don't know that I necessarily saw him as like that he would become world champion, but he was clearly the lead of that. He was clearly the Ricky Morton of that tag team.
Oh yeah. Oh no, who are we upset by this? Yeah, he was definitely Oates. So yeah, he gets the hot tag, great drop kick, and there's a great flying burrito by Tito Santana in there. Like he comes across the ring and he lays
We
out
call it
Rick
a
Martel.
flying forearm.
Well, I mean, I'm just going with the word of the time
Yeah,
here, but yeah,
right.
he lays out Martel. But the Canadians win. That's basically it. You know, some
In real
fuckery.
life too.
Yeah, some fuckery in there at the end, but yeah, you know, that match seemed longer. It was 14:58. It seemed
Marty
much
Jannetty
longer than
takes
that.
the loss,
Of
which is
course he
about right.
does.
Of course,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's the Robert Gibson of the team. So
Who Gibson?
you gotta take that L.
I don't think young me really understood how little of a chance Tito Santana ever had. God, I love me some Tito Santana.
We fell for it too.
He could talk, he could wrestle. He was
Yeah,
on every week.
exactly.
They
He was
had his ass
fired up
working
all
3
the
shows
time.
a day.
Yeah, man.
He was a worker. He worked.
Yeah,
he
he
took his
was
beating.
great. He had a great body, like everything. I was thinking about this when I was watching this too. Okay, so WWF or WWWF was the home of the ethnic champions. You know, back in the day, you know, Pedro, Bruno, you know, they had
Morales?
like that. Yeah, they had the freaking ethnic champions there that would rule for, you know, essentially for the longest time. No, not
No,
free.
they had to program it to appeal to the minority audience.
In New York, yeah, because they were
Yeah.
primarily there. So you know, you
Before it
had
was all on cable, they had to their business revolved around the house shows.
yeah,
And
the
there was a
ethnic
period of
minority.
time where their majority of their audience was the ethnic audience, and so they had to have ethnic champions.
Yep. And so that was a thing. And then it wasn't,
Yeah.
you know, like for a very, very long time. You know, so Tito gets a run at the Intercontinental title once or twice, but that was it, you know. And then, you know, I mean, we know this from all of wrestling really at this particular time. And you
Black
put
folks don't win, or
you
colored
don't
folks
win
don't win
shit.
shit.
Yeah, you put any person of color on there, there was an absolute, there was no glass ceiling.
Unless you was Japanese or Iranian.
But okay, so she gets that little run off the titles just so he could lose it. But like the black wrestlers at this particular time,
wrestlers.
Coco.
Yeah.
Like who was the next champion of color
Ron Simmons.
after in the WWF?
Oh, Rock?
I mean, I guess so. Ricky Steamboat was IC champ.
Yeah.
It's probably the last one.
Yeah, it's crickets. Yeah. Because not like it's just not a thing, you know, and every time they, you know, they get a and then wrestling, I'm not picking on WWF in this regard, but wrestling in regard, like you black, you better shuck in that jive because you better be street thug because there's just not an opportunity for you to just be a regular dude and be the champion. You know, and I don't know if that's really changed all that much now either, but it is what it is.
So not counting Razor Ramon, who was clearly not
minority.
Yeah.
To my Ahmed Johnson in '96 was the next Intercontinental champion of color.
Wow. And then Rock had it at some point, right? Or did he never have the Intercontinental
title? He might not have ever had the IC
just
champion.
Just went straight to the World Championship?
Yeah. No, he had it 97.
Okay. Yeah.
He beat Triple A. Oh, so Ahmed, then Mark Marrow. Oof.
He's not.
Triple H, Rocky Maivia.
Yeah.
Oh, and then The Rock.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
Mark D'Lo Brown had the IC championship.
That's weird. Mark Marrow was in blackface, y'all. FYI. He was not that whatever that he thought that he was. He was not that. Okay. Oh, so we get that flashback to the feud with the Warrior. We saw it on the what was it, the posing challenge on the last pay-per-view, and then you know he gets attacked with the flexi thing and he beats the hell out of him, and you know whatever. So it's Warrior versus Rude for the Intercontinental title. Okay, my note says this is sickening how over the Warrior is.
Yes,
like, it's sickening. Like people are going absolutely nuts for this fucking nut job, and he sucks. Like the Warrior he's awful. He has no wrestling ability. It's just shaking the rope. Like, it's just, I mean, it's bad. It's just bad. I mean, there's bad wrestlers, but he makes Hogan look like Flair, man. This is awful. This is bad. And also, again, another cheating ass babyface.
Yeah, and Rick Rude, I think, was the only person who could get a decent match out of him. And Rick Rude works his ass off
Rick Rude is very underappreciated.
to make
Agreed.
the Ultimate Warrior in this match. Is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. This was offensive.
Yeah, and it's also he hit him with the belt, no DQ. They're out on the floor for like 2 minutes, no count out.
Yeah,
like, I mean, this is
good shit.
This is
The
ridiculous.
good shit.
Yeah.
Yippee!
Oh, and you know, if you listen to the wrestling stuff, Rude is a noted or alleged to be a noted tough guy, like legit tough guy, not, you know, whatever. And he's disrespectful, you know, like they said, the wrestlers, like, hey, if you go for the pin, hook the leg. You know, if you're a babyface or whatever, he doesn't hook the leg, just kind of lays on him for the kick out. Like, I'm surprised there hadn't been stories about how Rude tried to fucking, you know, beat the shit out of him. Because, you know, he was just, but I also thought he was probably making more money than he ever thought at that particular time because of this feud with the Warrior. So he just kind of kept his mouth shut. But yeah, ref bump. Rude finally gets some heat. Yeah, and then, you know, at a point here, the Warrior's going to Hulk up. Like, he's just, you know, they start hitting him, and it just doesn't matter. Like, he just hulks up, and he gave Rude a pile driver. There's no way I'm taking a pile driver from the Ultimate Warrior. Nope, he's not safe at all. Like, Rude probably happy that or lucky that he didn't get his neck broke.
I think Rick Rude enjoyed being Rick Rude, and I think he gave a lot of people happiness after matches.
Sure. Well, he had the back injury or whatever that ended his in-ring stuff, you know, and then he became like the, you know, the kind of the muscle outside of the ring in a suit, and, you know, yeah, he just, you know, career got cut short. But yeah, Rude was great. I mean, if we ever get to the part where we get to the 90s or whatever, and he's feuding with Sting, I was somehow seeing wrestling at that point. Those matches are great. Like, so because I mean, again, you know, I love the Stinger. Oh, I do, but I know who was pulling those matches for sure. Like, I know exactly who was the person that was calling those matches. So, but yeah, okay. Poll question: who has the worst finisher? Hogan with the leg drop, or Warrior with the friggin' off the ropes fucking bullshit splash? They're both pretty awful.
I'm gonna have to say the weight of an entire person versus the weight of a person's leg is probably superior. So
Hutch?
You count all that stuff into it. I like the leg drop better, and that's awful.
well, I didn't. Yeah, I think realistically the leg drop's probably better. But if you're gonna make a logical argument,
That's right. If you want to go logical,
Yeah,
we're dealing with mythical wrestling here.
I guess. There's the dragons. Yeah, it's awful. So yeah, Rude gets a bunch of moves on him that he kicks out of everything. Of the pile driver in there. He tried some move off the top, it didn't work. And then for some reason, Piper comes down to the ring, and you know, he starts taunting Rude, you know, and for whatever reason, that's my note says this is some pretty gay shit right here. Rude comes out there, he sees Piper, and he starts, you know, doing his hips and his gyrating and stuff, and Piper moons him.
Yep.
I'm like,
why?
Yeah, y'all trying to tell us something?
Hollywood Nights.
Yeah, y'all trying to tell us something. So yeah, and then, you know, actually at that point, then that's when the Warrior goes off and he does a splash on his back. Actually, he doesn't even like put him over, and he does this hot splash. We have a new Intercontinental Champion. Blah blah blah. Yeah, they go nuts. Like, the crowd is going absolutely ape shit for Warrior, man, and it's just sickening because he's so awful. Tell me I'm wrong. 16.
you are not wrong.
1602, by the way. Okay, 1602 for this. Yeah, that's Rude working his ass off.
Yeah, they made Rude work 16 minutes to give him the title.
Yeah.
Hey, an extra $1,000 goes a long way.
Yeah, that's awful. Yeah, they're awful. The Warrior's terrible. I mean, and again, he was a terrible wrestler, and then when he got out of wrestling, he became a terrible person, and then then he died. End of story. All right.
Got the Hall of
So
Fame, then he died. Oh.
yeah, whatever. All right, so yeah, more backstage stuff, more in crowd stuff. And they did a show recap, like kind of at this point too, like really night.
Like really?
They were stretching it out, y'all.
They're probably trying to make up Terry Taylor time.
Maybe. All right, so then we get another backstage bit. We get an incoherent Piper. Hi, by the way, I hate Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
Just so y'all know,
Yeah.
I hate Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Like just to have this person out there screaming, like it's not even. I don't get it. I don't get it. Y'all can tell me otherwise. And again, then it's backed up by the fact that he's an incoherent promo, and then he's a shitty wrestler too.
He's old. He's old.
All he did was like, come on, man.
He's a street. Yeah, he's just a big loud mouth. But New Jersey people like big loud mouths.
I don't get it. Y'all have to help me out on this.
I don't either. Like punching, sleep, or whatever. Now, they on Cornette they did a watch along for the Bret Hart Piper match, and that was a good match. But I think it was like the other part of it too was like he wasn't going to give anybody a good match to get them over. Yeah. So like that was the other part of it, is like he wasn't going to give up his spot, and he wasn't necessarily going to work for it. He was willing to talk for it, but that was about the extent of it. Yeah, he was a dick, and that's fine, but whatever. But looking back at it, even actually at the time, I was like, man, Piper kind of sucks. I don't understand what the hype is, but also we get Ronnie Garvin's next terrible gimmick. As he's there, we're gonna talk about him in a little bit, but this is awful. He's been there. This is his third gimmick that he's been there in the time that he's there. And then Heenan and Rude are upset about the loss and Piper or whatever. And then we get like this spooky little promo with Randy Savage, Sherry, and Zeus, and with Gene Okerlund. And that's what I was like, yeah, everybody's dead here. It's kind of weird. Yeah, it's just like I'm watching. I was like, wait a second. Ooh. Yeah, it's just bad. All right. And so then another VTR about to lead up to the main event, Saturday night's main event. Zeus has come from the celluloid into the real world, and he make me move, Hogan. Got his cross-eyed thing going, lots of no selling and bear hugs is what my notes say. Oh, you just skip from the main event?
No, I'm just saying. No, they did the VTR. Like,
the VTR. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I'm not upset that we've.
No, we got another match. Oh, but here we go. Okay, my note on here says also before we get to the main event, who's worse, Zeus or Beefcake?
The whole thing was awful.
Yeah, it's bad.
The whole thing was awful.
It's
so bad because it was such a clown show. So obviously a clown show.
Yes, it's bad. Let's get to match number 6, y'all. The Twin Towers and Andre the Giant, if talking about bad, versus Demolition and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I got notes. Akeem is awful, by the way. Just everybody knows. And also a pimp named Slickback is also awful. Just awful. I didn't look it up. Is Slick alive? I can't imagine. Can't imagine Slick has made it into 2022. I just can't.
I'm gonna say he's still with us.
I'm gonna say he's gone. No way.
Still with us.
Still with us? Wow.
64 years old.
Only 64?
Wait a minute.
Born 57.
You should looking up the
wait.
That's 64.
That's Cat Stevens.
Well, because Teddy Long just had a birthday this past week. He was 73. So okay. All right, player. All right. So yeah, Akeem is awful. Pimp is named Slickback is awful. And again, as I said, Akeem is a rib on Dusty, and now Dusty's there essentially doing the same thing. And okay, so I got a history spot here. Okay, so Duggan gets to the WWF in 1987, which doesn't seem logical because we were watching this shit in 1987. So that meant we were like nah. Like, oh yeah, he just left the
Them shits-
UWF.
Them shits
But-
was
No.
pre-taped.
But
No,
Duggan
he-
didn't go to the NWA when they bought the UWF, or he did?
Correct. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't make it over.
Yeah,
He
him and
straight-
DiBiase went right to WWF, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
So that had to just be brand loyalty on us then, because Duggan, he was a favorite of mine. So I'm like, man, Hacksaw is over there. It would have probably piqued my curiosity to have seen it, but it had to be brand loyalty. It was just like, nope, he's there. I don't watch that, so I didn't watch it.
Yeah, and they didn't drastically change his character, but he suddenly became like just a brainless and cheating babyface. So
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
it's in here.
cheating
Yeah,
and he
babyface.
cheats
a
like
lot.
all the time. Yeah,
Right.
it's in my
2
notes.
by 4.
So he goes there in '87 and feuds with Nikolai Volkov, I think, and then he winds up in a feud with the Sheik.
because
And
he's
then that's when-
American. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when they get and that's when they get busted.
Oh,
On
yeah.
the kayfabe. Yes, they get
Yeah.
busted with cocaine on the New Jersey
I thought
Turnpike.
that was marijuana.
It might have been marijuana. So they get busted there, and then he gets bumped down the card. Then he gets shit canned. But he never got just broken. He never holds a title in WWE.
It was a joint.
Yeah, he never holds a title. He wins what was it, the Royal Rumble, but never wins a belt. I don't even know that he was ever close to feuding for one. Like, just the UWF champ became a gimmick, like a ridiculous gimmick. So yeah,
Trying to think about it this time, what they even used the Intercontinental title for, because they used it to elevate. They used it to elevate the Ultimate Warrior and Randy Savage to the title picture, but then after
others.
that, not really. They used it to keep the the Bret Harts and the Mr. Perfects of the world busy. That was about it.
Yeah, it was a again, by having not watched it that much at the time, like, not really even sure. It was like, oh, that guy's got a belt, but I just know it was kind of the same people. But it wasn't freaking Hacksaw who was the world champion. Demolitions is fucking awful, also just awful.
Yeah,
The S&M outfits.
they
all
are
of this is
just
bad.
they're such a they look like a broke ass legion of chocolate. Yeah. So
It's
bad.
just bad. It's just terrible, like all around. The face paint,
The
again,
glitter.
the S&M bits. Like there's nothing good about that at all. My note here also says Duggan has on the control top panties to keep his
Yeah.
belly in. Yeah, it's like rolled up almost to his chest. So that was fun. Yeah. So let's see. All right, I have the other thing. I don't know what happened there. I said, okay, so much like giant characters in comic books that we say that all suck, pretty much all giants in wrestling also suck.
Well,
They're a good giant character.
Andre's on the downturn here.
Yes, for sure.
Like
Really
his
bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's bad.
Yeah. Is there
I
a
mean,
good giant character?
What's the height thing? You can't be taller than 6'8".
well, what do you mean by good?
Well,
what, Undertaker?
I wouldn't call him a giant. He's a big, but I wouldn't call him a giant. Like him, Kevin Nash, like tall dudes, I wouldn't call giants. I would call people that their gimmick is based on them.
So you're talking
ridiculous.
about Giant Gonzalez,
Yeah,
aka Elegante,
yeah,
the Big Show,
Andre,
and Andre.
yeah, Big
The
Show.
Big Show's probably the best out of all of them.
By for sure.
The Big Slow.
I mean, not in terms of like being a spectacle and a draw. Obviously, Andre's a legend in that regard. But, in retrospect, like, again, they never put the title on him because they couldn't take it off of him. And all he was a spectacle. He could be there for however long until people got tired of seeing him and they move him on. That's a sad existence.
Yeah.
His biography is awful.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we need you to get Hogan over, and then you're going to have a miserable last 3 years of your career, and then you're free to go die somewhere. That's his biography. It's awful.
Yeah, really? Okay. You read that or you saw it or
I watched it. Yeah.
That was on HBO, right? Or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, okay. Awful. All right. Hot tag to smash. He slams both of the Twin Towers, and then he tries to do that with Andre, and he ends that shit quick.
And
then the
Smash is
chaos.
Crusher Khrushchev, right?
Yes, that's
All
right.
right.
And then in the chaos, Duggan continues. My note says the cheating ass baby faces and hits Akeem with the tag with the flagpole 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then that's the winner. Yeah.
And he's got the whole like coon face tucked behind his
I
arm.
ain't doing.
I
doing
ain't did
anything.
you nothing.
Exactly.
Talking like that Oreo cookie and that jailbird over there.
Well done. But I was on my Twitter the other day, and somebody had like the nickname. It wasn't the real one because it was like, yeah, Iceman King Parsons. I was like, but it was just like somebody that just took the nick, but it wasn't the real Iceman King Parsons. It definitely made me like, wait, hold up. All right. So we get a backstage bit with DiBiase speaking about his match with Snuka, which seems out of nowhere. And then we have Ronnie Garvin, the new ring announcer, guest ring announcer in a tux, looking like Barney Rubble.
He can't, and he can barely talk.
Doing some scripted comedy.
Yeah, it's bad. And also,
my wife. Take my wife, please.
Yeah. He's still with us, right?
He is. We're just learning in the last 5 to 7 years this nigga was Canadian, French Canadian, no less.
And he was Jimmy Garvin's great grandfather or some shit.
I knew he was Canadian.
He's French Canadian, sir. He's not
I
even
don't know
like
what the French
that
part
kind of
of it,
Canadian.
but
Yeah, man, he's French Canadian too. It's like what? So yeah. All right. So the next match, which comes out of absolutely nowhere. I have no. This is we got to give the crowd a breather. Go take a piss. Go get a soda match. Hercules Hernandez versus Greg Valentine. This awful. Like,
how did this get this far up the ladder?
That's what I was saying. Yeah, this is a breather match. And my note says the less said, the better.
Neither could talk. Well, Greg Valentine can talk a little bit, but
yeah, but
Hercules is crazy over too. I don't remember that.
Just huge. But as my note in here says, like Valentine been the same dude for 15 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was the same dude. Like his matches were all the same. He didn't really talk. He was just like a tough guy or whatever. And eventually he was gonna lose. Like that, eventually he was just like that bad guy that would be bad.
But he was the other dude that was on every show.
Yeah,
like he was beating jobbers on every show 3 times a day.
He would actually lose to Tito Santana.
Occasionally.
Yeah, and he was starting to rock that freaking belly. That he would just get bigger and bigger over time, man. He was like, man, that was a super fit dude when I saw him in, Mid-South. And it's just kind of, man, just beer after beer after beer. Hernandez was just a steroid monkey. Couldn't talk, really couldn't wrestle. And then Valentine wins on the sneaky roll up, puts his feet on the ropes or whatever. And then Garvin knocks out Valentine. All right. So I got my how far have they fallen situation. All right. So September of '87, Garvin wins the NWA title from Flair. Like we remember this very, very well. We remember the chase. We remember, the fight.
2-year chase, wasn't it?
We remember the
sunset flip off the top of the rope in the cage for the title.
Hitting me, damn it, was the thing, because him and Flair would just have these battles. If Wikipedia is correct, the Hands of Stone nickname came from Flair. And it's just a random promo that he's like, oh, he got these hands of stone or whatever, and then it stuck. So they go through this. He wins the title, but I guess the first night or the first Survivor Series or something like that was booked against Starrcade in '87, and Crockett had decided, like, well, we can't have Ron Garvin as champion, so we're gonna need to give him the belt. Like he's like, I need somebody to have the belt for Flair to win it back at Starrcade. So anybody want to win the belt for 2 months? Tommy Rich? No, you didn't? All right, man. So Ronnie Garvin, he was like, I'm 42 years old. I'm gonna, take this because I'm never probably gonna be the world champion again. So he wins it and then drops it to Flair at Starrcade 2 months later. And then less than a year later, he's in WWF as Rugged Ronnie Garvin, and the referee Ronnie Garvin, and then ring announcer Ronnie Garvin. In a year.
Canadians are versatile.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Like, that's just awful. No matter what you think of him and his run and as shitty as the champion or whatever, Like
he
was
was
over.
great. He was great in WCW or WWE.
Yeah, he was over there
he
so
did,
hard, man. Like, I mean, we used to. I mean, God, we used to knock out jobbers on the 605 show. You know, Hands of Stone. Like it was.
Typho and knots.
Man, yeah, exactly. Smacking them, stretching them.
Right.
You know, like beating the shit out of folks, man.
And
A year, just a
he's
year.
5'6".
Again,
That might be generous.
yeah, again.
And the funny thing is, like, one of these shows we watched, they had him paired against Dino Bravo, and it's like, oh, you put him against the taller, bigger version of the same person.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, and then again, yeah, Cornette did call him the Barney Rubble of wrestling. So that's what it is. And so I didn't look to see how much longer he's going to be here after this, but I can't imagine it's much longer. Like he's probably, we've given you 3
to
gimmicks.
90.
Yep, we're giving you 3 gimmicks. You didn't get them over, or they couldn't get over. But
he comes back out of retirement. Valentine demands he comes out of retirement. They blow that feud off, and I think that's about it.
Yeah, awful, terrible. All right, match number 8, y'all. Ted DiBiase, the cheater of the welfare recipients, versus Jimmy Snuka, the murderer.
Well, is he in business with my boy Brett Favre?
He had already got busted for this before Brett Favre. Essentially the same thing. But Favre,
it was a family affair.
Yeah, him and his son both got busted, like siphoning funds from.
I would have thought Brett Favre was immunized against.
Yeah.
Brett Favre had CTE before anybody, and
my tweet about Brett Favre was like, white people finding out that Brett Favre is a fucking scumbag. We been knew. So like y'all are just learning this. Dude,
sending dick pics.
Dick pics. He cheated on his wife when she was in cancer treatment. Like, this nigga is a terrible person, man.
Yeah.
Like that all shucks, golly gee Williker, fucking pain pill, drug addict. Dude, come on, man.
He kept dragging Green Bay.
Yeah,
right. And he couldn't wait to play again on their rival team. So yeah,
terrible person. But anywho, again, this match for me, one, also comes out of nowhere. I didn't really know if there was a feud with Snuka and DiBiase for some reason.
This was just, we got to keep Ted DiBiase busy because he's not doing anything with Hogan right now.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was in New Jersey, which is Snuka country. Right. And I think Snuka was just back. So.
Right.
He couldn't have been there for long either. Because he makes a run in WCW at some point too. Snuka does, I thought.
I don't think so.
No? Okay. Well, he's there.
He can't outlive that banana thing.
Oh. Yeah. One night at Slamboree 93.
Okay. Well, we're raised from there though.
And then he was on one Nitro. So just a couple appearances.
So yeah, I mentioned this at the start there. Ventura saying a bunch of racist shit about Snuka. I mean, Snuka's an animal. You can always outsmart an animal. He wrestles on instinct. He has a hard head like a Neanderthal. Like, I mean, it's really bad. And again, as freaking PC conscious as WWE, the corporation, is now, I'm really surprised they don't scrub the audio. Like, I really don't. And just let it run. But I'm very surprised to be honest.
But who's watching this stuff?
We're typically not going to scrub it for denigration of non-white people.
This is fair. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, it's just bad.
Right. Most of these people are capital MAGA.
This is just historical accuracy.
Exactly. Right.
Where's the dragon?
This is historical drama.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck, we should have played MAGA, not MAGA with these people. All right. So yeah.
It's gonna go just like it did last time. They all MAGA.
Yeah. All right. So DiBiase tries a move they shouldn't be doing. That's allow Snuka to get some offense. He tries to superfly from the top rope, but Virgil interferes, and he's chasing around the floor. Snuka eats the ring post. He gets counted out. Match over, and then of course the black guy eats the superfly at the end there. That's not DiBiase. Virgil eats that superfly off the top rope. 1, 2, 3. Whatever. Oh, whatever. Not 1, 2, 3, but yes, DiBiase wins by count out.
On DQ.
Yeah. More the count out. More backstage stuff, and then we get Lanny Poffo to come out and do a poetry.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was the laureate or so. What was he?
The
He-
poet.
he-
The poet laureate or something
I
like
remember
that.
something about Lori something.
Was he the
Yeah.
poet?
I remember
poet?
something.
He was the poet. I thought it was like he had a whole name. I think they just shrinked it down to poet for the ignoramuses.
Yeah.
But he ain't worth
All right.
looking up. So yeah.
No, yeah, he's still with us, I believe.
Oh well,
Yeah,
yeah.
he
He's got the story to tell.
The genius.
The genius.
That's
That-
even worse.
Ugh. All right. Match 9, y'all, is our main event. It's Zeus, the Macho Man. And
All right. Well,
Derek.
it was good to talk to y'all.
You can't
We'll
know
catch you
after-
next one.
You can find this
Shit.
podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher.
That's right. Holy mackerel. After we survived all this shit.
Yes, exactly. Versus Brutus Barber Beefcake. My titanium steel. And Hulk Hogan. You know how this fucked up? They get separate entries. Beefcake gets an entrance on his own, which is funny. Beefcake less than 271, and Dusty is 289. Come on, son. Seriously, come on. That's
That
awesome.
mullet was a good 30.
Come on. And then Hogan gets the real American entrance. Just hearing it makes me want to fucking throw up. Honestly. I just want to throw stuff. I can't stand it. I can't stand Hogan. And the fact that he turned out to be an absolute fucking jackwagon later in life just proved why I hated him then.
But he was a jackwagon before. We just didn't know.
Of course he was. We just didn't know.
Right.
But
He was Brett Favre before Brett Favre.
Man, we had it. Yeah, we're all a little racist, brother. Fucking niggers. All right. Anyway, so awful. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start with this crap. Oh, and
They
Liz
get in the
comes
ring,
back.
they fight, they end.
Well, Liz comes back before they can get started. They bring back the first lady of wrestling. They bring back Elizabeth.
So useless. She's
useless.
useless. I'm sorry.
She's useless. She's pointless. Yeah, and again,
Rest in peace.
RIP. But I think I said this on the last podcast. This version of Liz,
No.
WCW version of Liz.
Yeah. This match, all they did was like Zeus was invulnerable. Then
I can't cross my eyes. I wish I could.
and then they just eventually, I don't know, they uninvulnerabled him and
Yeah,
he caught the leg drop.
Yeah,
And then it ended like every of these shows ends with just a 15-minute jerk off session for Hogan. And that's what the people want.
Right.
Yes, that's it.
That's what
Yeah,
we paid
send
for
them
it.
home.
It's
happy.
like
Yep.
the inevitability. I know what I came to hate in the later days of WCW was the inevitability of the NWO winning the day.
Yeah,
and here we have
spray tag
the
in the-
inevitability of Hogan winning the day, and then having to just watch like a ceremony and just celebrate his greatness
Yes.
on is and then, and honestly, set aside this match because this was an absolute clown show. You got Brutus Beefcake in it. You've got a just fresh off of movie.
Actor.
Now we're pretending as an invulnerable whatever.
Yeah.
Hogan's matches, his other matches that we've seen are not terrible up to the hulking out point. Like his matches generally make sense up to the point where it's like, oh, we got to go home. Okay.
Fuck it. I'm invulnerable.
Now I no sell everything. And particularly like the Macho Man match where he takes the elbow, jumps right out of the elbow and goes into his Hulk up and beats Macho Man.
Which happens in this match too.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, God, no wonder like Macho hates him. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Everybody hates him.
Everybody hates him.
Because I mean, he went over everybody, but in a sense, like he buried everybody too, because it would just be like, all right, you're
What's
done.
the point?
And that's why.
Yeah,
And that's why this whole roster is just populated with people who are like, oh, Hogan's done with them. I don't know. They're in match 6 now. I don't know.
It's like Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, but like, it's okay. So, like, how does like all these years later or whatever that comes through here and then in WCW, like Macho never gets his dub back.
No, never.
He never gets his dub back. He's like, oh, he's got a bunch of freaking DQ wins, but he never gets the freaking 3 count.
Well,
And
Flair
that
never
sucks,
really did
man.
either.
No, Flair didn't either. Yeah.
Nobody really got over Hogan.
No, what Luger beat him twice, but nobody knows why. You know,
because he knew Luger wasn't going to get over, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah, it's just awful. My note on here says the match was a whole ass mess. Again, cheating babyfaces led by the king of cheating babyfaces. Ventura running down Liz, calling her a hoe and a freaking gold digger. Awful.
True.
I didn't know the Beefcake used the sleeper. Like
Yeah.
Beefcakes?
Because he had to put him to sleep before he could cut their hair.
Right.
Beefcake sucks. Like this is one of the worst versions of like, oh, this is one of Hogan's guys. This is bad. Them and the fucking Nasty Boys. It was the worst version. Like, oh, they're Hogan's guys, so they're constantly at the top of the car. Like, awful. Beefcake is fucking terrible. What was he? The big bad booty daddy in WCW or the shark
of
man
many thing and the Zodiac and
just
awful. Hogan's little bit.
What the hell are y'all
one of
talking
Hogan's
about?
many little bitches was
yes,
what
exactly.
his name.
What the hell are y'all talking about?
Yeah, he wound up when Hogan went to WCW. Of course, Beefcake fall in there. We just couldn't use the freaking name, the copyright. So
he went on a wrestling game.
Hogan. So Hogan hot tags in. They can't. Yeah, okay. So Savage is getting the heat on Hogan, and he goes to the top, hits him with a beautiful freaking flying elbow drop, by the way, and Hogan just pops up right completely. Like, whoop. I mean again, if you're 8 and you see that shit, yeah, like, oh my God, that's my hero, Hulk Hogan. But if you're anything past probably 15, like, come on, man. Like, Savage is a much better wrestler. He's much cooler. Everything about him is better. And now he's just shitting on him completely. Fuck, yeah, it's bad. And so they had this thing where they had the loaded purse. Sherry Martel has a loaded purse, and she's trying to get it to them so they can knock these people out or whatever. They pull her into the ring. My note says we almost see Sherry's pussy here. Because dude, if you go back and watch that slit and that pull over the ropes, is very, very close to not being PG. Very close. And then that's very like, I'm surprised they didn't cut that out too. And then they finally get Zeus down. He's punching him, he gets him hurt, and he has to use the loaded purse that gets him down. I don't know if it was a slam and leg drop, but it was a leg drop and it was a pin. 1, 2, 3. He gets beat. Sherry gets pulled into the ring, gets freaking comic drop.
It's not enough that they can beat Zeus. Then they gotta go over Sherry too.
Yeah, they gotta go over Sherry too. She gets hit. Liz hits her with the freaking post, with the loaded purse, and then it's a freaking literally 10 minutes of posing and sweating and stretching and all of that bullshit that came with being Hogan. And we were too old. That's the only thing I can say. Like, I've never liked Hulk Hogan, maybe except for when he was Thunder Lips. I think that was the only time when I was actually maybe cheering for him because I hate fucking Rocky. But beyond that, there's never been a time when I was cheering for Hogan. Even when he went NWO, and it was like, oh, well, maybe turning bad guy, maybe. I'm like, no, it's still the same fucking asshole in there. I can't. So, yeah, fuck Hulk Hogan. Man, be the name of this podcast. But no. And that's the card. Pretty shitty, y'all.
Yes.
Yeah, there's not I would say a good match on here. So we road watched that one. I wouldn't call any of them good, but
a good reason not to be watching it.
Yeah, but I think this is standard WWF at the time, and them, and pretty much WCW at the time too. They're about to go into this dark period of professional wrestling where it's all bad, like everywhere. It's just not going to be good. There's going to be some good things that come out of it, but it's going to be a dark time here, when freaking Warrior's about to ascend to the world championship, which is not going to work out great. Flair's about to come up to WWF, leaving, WCW with a whole bunch of young people. that aren't necessarily ready for those spots either. It's a dark time. Spin the wheel, make the deal, bro. Bad, 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 all around. So yeah. So all right, brother Beavis, what is our next misadventure here?
I was just looking at it. It appears to be Halloween Havoc. Actually, let me double check that, because I don't think we ever get a stretch where there's two. Thankfully, there's not two WWF cards in a row. I'm pretty sure it's Halloween Havoc. Let me consult the records.
That's fine. You know, so as he's doing that, you know, we're just kind of getting through these shows as we can. Because it was a bad stretch, to say the least.
Halloween Havoc.
Yeah.
We got Halloween
what's our main
Havoc,
event?
Survivor Series, and then Starrcade. So 3 left.
Okay.
So the card for Halloween Havoc is Tom Zenk and Mike Rotunda.
Good night.
I already dropped my pen.
The Samoan SWAT team and the Midnight Express.
Good night.
Okay. No, that's fine. That should be okay.
Former NWA heavyweight champion Tommy Rich versus the Cuban Assassin. The Fabulous Freebirds of Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin against the Dynamic Dudes. Dude suck dick.
Dude suck dick.
Doom and the Steiner Brothers.
That should be okay.
The Road Warriors and the Skyscrapers. Luger and Pillman. That could be worth
again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ric Flair and Sting versus Terry Funk and Great Muta.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Well,
because this was the culmination. The last one was Flair beat Funk, and Muta came out, and then Sting made the save.
Yeah.
And Sting had no idea how to throw a fired up promo.
Yeah.
He had no idea to fight outside the ring, across the ring. And he had no idea
what do I do with my hands? What do I do with my hands? I don't know what to do with my hands. So okay. Well, I'm trying to think. Well, it probably Doom and the Steiners have to be the watch along. Because all those dudes can go. It'll be stiff. So all right. That's it, y'all. So we'll be back with this. Took a ways off of this one, but you know, we'll be back. Because Magnum Brother Beavis don't want to talk about Dragon. So maybe
we don't talk about dragons. Oh no.
About found this podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, on the YouTube page. Just subscribe at Brothers Comics. Picked up a lot of subscribers in the last like 3 weeks.
We did.
Probably from Dragon Con. Yeah, picked up a whole bunch. So we'll just keep pushing out content, y'all. And so we'll try. So I said 50 some odd podcasts this year. I don't know how far we are into that. The Bengals save us. All right. So if you're listening on the podcast version, that's the WCW theme. Saturday Night Music. Let's play us out. I'm the producer and I'm signing off. Magnum BB, go ahead and sign off.
See you next time.
Let's get fired up, man. We gotta send you a list of all these wrestling terms.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah, we'll get you next time. We'll see everybody next time. Peace.
Peace.